This is the one you wrote on, huh?
Welcome to it. My name is Sonja Gazi. It is the Ringers podcast, our 10th episode, and it's December. Today, guys, we are in Pretoria, and I am so excited. We have Stones and Bones in the building. I'm very happy today. I'm not going to be able to speak Zulu or Sotho or whatever, unless if you understand it.
No, I understand Sepedi a little bit better. But,
Oh, okay. I can't speak Sepedi.
That's not my problem.
So it's Lulu all the way. I'm so excited, guys. Please like and subscribe, and also like our Facebook page. It is at the Ringers Podcast. Stones and Bones in the building. Out of all the names that we have in the world, you guys chose Stones and Bones. Why?
Yeah, it's a good question. My partner is not here today.
Yeah.
He was really thin when we met.
Okay.
That was in 2010.
Mm.
So people used to call him Bones because you could only see the bones.
Oh, okay.
And my name is Casper Jan Hendrik Steenkamp, which is an Afrikaans name. And if you just translate that to English, at least a part of my surname, Steen becomes Stone. So we just simplified our names, put it together. There was another friend of ours who was part of the group at that stage. So he was the and. But he left the group.
Why was he the and? Oh, he was putting you guys together.
Yes, he was bringing us together, but yes, he decided to pursue another career.
Oh, okay.
So that's how Stones and Bones formed.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah.
Sense. I've always wanted to know this. Okay, can you please give us a brief introduction of yourself?
Alright, I was born here in Pretoria, and I lived here most of my life. I spent 2 years in London after school, where I did all sorts of fun things, and that's when I started doing music at school. I played saxophone at school.
That's nice.
And but I really found my love for music again after school when I spent time in London. I just had a guitar with me, so I just played guitar for hours. And then I came back here and studied undergrad in psychology, and at the same time did music. And then at music college I met my partner KG, who we became best friends since then. He was the only guy in class who laughed at my jokes. And I was making silly jokes all the time. So we got together, we had some drinks, and we had a braai, and then we started we were making kwaito first, and then hip hop and house. So we sent some kwaito tracks out to radio stations, we sent hip hop tracks out. When I listen to the hip hop we made now, I feel really embarrassed. It was really bad. It was bad, and we were young, and we were like...
Did you guys put it out, or you just...
it's there on the internet somewhere, but you have to look carefully. But it's hard to find. So we didn't get much response for the hip hop and the kwaito stuff. But the house track we made was called Somebody, and that track started. Local DJs started playing it, and some of the campus stations started playing it, and so on. So we realized that that's probably that's what we're good at, you know. So we started specializing more and more in house music. We produced a little bit for other people for a while, but it always sort of stuck with us. The Stones and Bones became this house music product, and at that stage we were quite unique because we were combining like live instruments with house beats.
Yes.
And it was difficult at that stage because it was just when Mikasa were breaking into the scene.
Okay.
So whenever we'd walk into a club, because of my complexion, people would say Mikasa, 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 and Jay something and so on. So we were in that shadow for a long time because what we were doing was too similar to what they were doing. So we had to redefine the product a bit. That's when we started making a little bit harder house music, like Afro tech, because it was very soulful at the start. Yeah, that's pretty much how we got here.
That's nice. Okay, so I want us to go back, because I hear that you guys can also sing. So I want to know, when did the music bite you? And when did you realize that you actually can sing? Was it when you were like young or?
Kaji knew it a bit earlier than I did. I think it was at college. We had to make tracks for projects, and he sang on his own track. And then we said to the guy, like, listen, you've got some talent. So we started Stones and Bones, and it was hard to get vocalists at that stage. So I would go up, put ads up at the Technicon, looking for vocalists and so on. And we never got any responses. So then I wrote the words for the track, and I said to him, listen, you have to go and sing it. There's nobody else. So he sang, and since then, because the track did well, the first one that he sang on, he got a lot of confidence from that, and we started singing a lot more. And myself, it took me a lot longer. I rapped at first, and when I was young, I got kicked.
16 now.
No, it took me a while.
Okay.
I'm not one of the rappers that can rap on the fly. Well, I'm not a rapper. So at school, I got kicked out of the choir because I couldn't sing. And so on. So it was only later in life that I realized you can learn how to sing.
Okay, so you learned how to sing?
Yeah, everyone can learn how to sing.
How did that process go?
It was easy, yeah.
Really?
I mean, at the start, it's just a thing that you have to wrap your mind around. Some people think you're born and you can't sing or you can't sing. You're born with your voice, yes. Your voice is going to sound like you.
Yeah.
But it's an instrument, like, you can learn piano, you can learn guitar,
yes.
You can learn how to sing. It's the same thing, really. But people don't think about it like that.
They don't.
Yeah.
There's still hope for a lot of people, I guess.
yeah, definitely.
So you play so many instruments. Like I've fallen in love with the sax now, and I see it there. Like, how do you do that? Can you play something for me?
Right now might be a bit hard because I'm not warmed up and so on. But maybe I can play something for you guys a bit later. And, and you can get some footage.
So how do you learn to play like E6?
I learned at school. I went to Pretoria Boys High. They have a music department there, and I decided to pick music as a subject. And then my uncle and my dad said to me that saxophone is a cool instrument. So I picked the saxophone and I started playing, and we had teachers there who would teach us. But a lot of the great saxophone players are self-taught. You just have to have access to the instrument, which is sometimes a bit difficult.
Yeah.
It's not the cheapest instrument to get into. And then, you just practice. It's like, you play piano like this with your hands. Saxophone, you play like this. But if you think about it that way, it's very much the same. All these instruments, the guitar's like this, piano's like this, saxophone's like this. So if you start thinking like that, they all start becoming a little bit the same.
I'm gonna have to learn now.
Yeah. So, and then you just practice your lungs, and obviously it has a little bit to do with your mouth, the way you blow into the instrument.
And the breathing as well?
Yeah, it's a little bit, it's not the easiest instrument to learn initially. But
I'll pass on the sax, maybe the guitar.
But if you're a singer, you should have good lungs, and saxophone is very similar to singing. Actually, it's one of the closest instruments to the human voice.
I love it. I've fallen in love with it. I've always been like an a cappella person, but then I heard some guy playing sax and I'm like, oh my goodness.
It's very expressive
And it's to
instrument.
die for. So when you guys are performing, you play the sax and then
Yes.
KG DJs.
KG DJs. Occasionally we have a microphone that he'll sing on a little bit if it's needed in the shows. There's a lot of chanting and that sort of thing. And I play saxophone. I'll play different things. You know, I have like some flutes or penny whistle that I'll take. Depending on where we're going, and if you're going traveling far, it's hard to take all your saxophones and so I might take the smaller stuff like a whistle and a saxophone or a harmonica or whatever.
Okay.
So, but I'm not so good at the other stuff. I just have a small bag of tricks. So if I play little enough, people don't realize I play the same thing all the time.
Oh, okay. I
So,
see you.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some of the challenges that you guys have faced, like starting up as Stones and Boats?
Yeah, I think the Mikasa thing obviously was difficult.
Yeah.
And then I think finding our place. Because, you know, in South Africa, the dance music industry, it moves so fast. Because dance music is like pop music here. So when we started, it was Soul Candy days. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Everything was soulful, and that was what we sang along to. Then it was this movement to this Afro, like it was Maporisa and the crew who back then it was called Uhuru and Oskido and Professor and all these guys. So that the sound changed again.
Yes.
And then it changed again. That was a few years ago when my piano was on the rise. And my piano started, it was very instrumental and it was a lot of piano and organ solos and so on. So keeping up with that, or do you keep up with that? Do you change your sound every time when the sound changes in South Africa? Or do you stick with what you do?
What you do, yeah.
In 2015 we had a breakthrough with a song called Amahloni.
Yes.
Amahloni, and that was with Tosha, yes. It was a beautiful song, and we wrote that song with, I played acoustic guitar and she sang, and then we took the guitar out and we just had bass. But when Manu remixed it, it was a breakthrough for us, and that was part of the rise of the Afro-tech sort of genre.
Yes.
So I think what was hard for us was with all of these genres, and in between we did some pop dance songs that did a little bit of radio play and so on, was finding our place here and then getting a sound that we don't have to change all the time. Because if you're trying to keep up with the guys who are, if you're not a guy who's living piano, you're not going to make good on the piano.
Yeah,
like,
you're not.
you won't, because it's a lifestyle that the people feel. So we went in that direction a bit, we went in other directions, but we had to find our thing that we do. So even now, this year, we released our album called The 12-Year Saga, and that's like, it's basically a journey, the 12 years together.
That's beautiful.
And it's a listening experience, so it's not in any one of these particular genres, but it's very, you can hear Stones and Bones in almost every song.
Yeah, I was listening to the track Better yesterday with Yolanda. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great song. Yeah. So I think that's been the biggest challenge is finding our place and staying true to that industry, because you'll go tour in Europe, you'll hear a specific sound there. You come back home, it's completely different. It's 10 BPM slower than it's that side, or then you go to Cape Town and you hear something different again. So that was the biggest challenge. Yeah.
So you describe your sound as Afro rock?
I think it used to be that.
Okay.
That was at the start. Now it's a little bit more Afro and Afro-tech. You know, there's always soul, because we play instruments and we're musicians, we love melodies.
Okay.
So that will always be part of the picture, but the sound has evolved. It is a little bit more club orientated the last while. The 12-Year Saga was the end of us catering for radio audiences and so on. We do like that, but we find at the moment everybody wants to go out and have a party and listen to music. So I would say it's Afro and Afrotech, which is a little bit harder nowadays. Yeah.
It is. So didn't the piano era disturb you guys?
Yes, very much. It completely changed the scene.
Especially locally.
Yeah. The thing is, you gotta love it because it's so, everything that happens here is so original and authentically South African that you can't have any hard feelings about it. You can. We just can't turn ourselves into piano producers. So we can work with the young cats who have that sound, and there's a few tracks on the album that lean that way.
Okay.
But it's never going to be our genre because it doesn't come naturally to us. But it's absolutely amazing. We've travelled into Africa lately. We went to Uganda and Ethiopia and Nigeria, and I was in Tanzania a while ago. And my piano is everywhere. Everywhere. You walk into a club, you're sitting on a beach somewhere. So it's this amazingly authentic genre that links to Afrobeats like this.
Yes.
So the whole continent is full of it. It's amazing. It's incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So when it's needed, we can play. We can rock you a 2-3 hour on a piano set.
But you can.
Yes, of course. But that's not our core. It's not.
Such a thing.
Yeah, it's not our speciality.
Yeah. Okay, so how do you guys keep it together, Stones and Bones? Because people are breaking up. Yeah. Jules.
I saw a list the other day. Yeah, I mean, there's a very famous one now that everyone's talking about. I saw a list the other day of people who's not been able to stay together. Look, we've become best friends in the process, so that really helps, because even if we're not making music together, we still like hanging out.
Okay.
So I think that's probably the main thing, and I think we also allowed each other the freedom to explore our solo stuff. So Bones has a solo career. In his solo career, he does a lot of piano stuff. As a vocalist also, he has a solo career, and as a producer, he produces for other people. I write some more indie rock, indie acoustic kind of songs in my solo stuff. So because we get to explore that without feeling threatened or anything like that, we can come back together and enjoy Stones and Bones for what it is. Yeah, so it doesn't have to carry all that pressure.
That's beautiful. Well, I actually asked about the Afro rock thing because I'm like big on rock. Like,
oh, really?
I really love it.
Yeah.
When I read about it, I think it's your profile on Trek Source. When I read it, I was like, oh, I'm home. I was really excited about that.
Yeah, well, we can talk about those things because we do have I run that part of the movement a little bit more. Is we have a band set up that we work in, where we play the more Afro rock, kind of Afro pop, Afro rock kind of stuff. But we've separated that a bit from Stones and Bones because it's too confusing for people if you're doing a million things. So yeah, I do that stuff personally a little bit more. So we'll talk. We'll talk.
Definitely. Oh God, this is so cool. Okay, so with the Ringers podcast, we're big on mental health. Like every person that we've interviewed, we ask about their mental health or have they encountered issues like that. But in the industry recently, like we have a lot of people who are going through a lot. So I want to ask about your mental health individually as CJ and as Stones and Bones. How do you handle things regarding the mental health issues?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's a serious question.
It is.
Yeah, look, there's a few things. I think these things are not spoken about in the industry, which we know. And there are many reasons for that. We can look at those reasons. But we see that generally with depression. People who suffer from those sort of things don't speak about it. One of the other problems in the industry is that we have a really unhealthy culture in terms of substance and substance abuse.
Yeah.
And there's this idea that you have to use substances to be creative or to be a creative person, which is absolutely untrue. It can facilitate some of these things, but there's many healthy ways to get there.
Yes.
So for us, I finished my psychology degree, so luckily I'm a clinical psychologist, so I understand mental health a little bit better. And I think that's helped us as a unit to navigate that, because we've definitely had some issues and hiccups, and we have had to manage conflict between us and personal things that we've gone through. So that's been important. I think that understanding. As you get older and you become more mature, you can't go play every show. You want to go play every show, but you can't, because you have maybe you have a family, or you've got to you understand that this is now it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah.
If you keep on sprinting, you'll get burnt out.
True.
So I think that's something that's missing in the industry is self-care. People don't take the time to. People don't want to say, "Listen, I'm not doing well." It's the first thing is we need to have a culture where we can say, "Listen, I'm not doing well," and that's okay. It's okay for me to not be doing well. It's okay for somebody who's really looked up to in the industry to say, "Listen, I have my struggles, and I'm seeking help for that. I'm seeing the right people." As soon as that becomes okay, we'll start having this culture of supporting each other, understanding that, and then we, as a music collective, can start insisting on the importance of mental health, and also in terms of playing shows, promoters, drug use, and all of that. We can be a bit better with that. So long answer to that question, but we changed our lifestyles. We generally drink very little. We will have a drink here and there with somebody, but very little. We don't really smoke anymore. That has really helped. We've gone for therapy, which not individually, obviously. I mean. So that also really helps, because there's a lot of trauma. There's working in this industry takes a small piece of your soul. You give it, you get a lot in return, but you never have that back, and you have to go deal with that. You have to go deal with that in some way or another. To go find that, and running away from it is not dealing with it. Numbing it with substances or activities or whatever is not dealing with it. Dealing with it is facing the pain that you carry in you, head on, feeling it, and then it dissipates. So I think that's quite important. A lot of people don't do that. Yeah.
Thank you for that answer.
No problem. I hope I answered.
You answered
well.
very well. Okay, so how's it going now for Stones and Bones?
Yeah, it's going great. It's
After
really,
COVID and
yeah, COVID was a big knock.
Yeah,
because
all of us hard.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You're right. We're not any exception. Everybody suffered in COVID, including people not in the music industry. So we had side hustles we could fall back on. I worked a lot in my practice, KJ as a post as a music lecturer. So at least we had that. But we had such a good momentum before COVID. We were in France and Greece, and we had just come back from Ethiopia, and we were in Uganda the same year. We were in Dubai, so we had this great momentum that we had built over a few years, and then we lost all of that. All of that in that time. We then made very radio-friendly music here in South Africa, because it was a way to get some kind of an income from royalties and so on. So that was good for us. We learned how to make radio-friendly music. We had a song that went to #1 on Metro FM Top 40,
Nice.
which was a really good highlight in it still doesn't put enough bread on the table. So that was hard, that was really hard. But we took that time, we worked on our album, we finished, we could release it this year. And this year the momentum has picked up again. We've done quite a few shows, mostly internationally. The local movement is picking up now also, and Afro and Afro-Tech is getting bigger. So that's really encouraging. You can nowadays go out and play some shows locally where it was hard to do, at least for us, a while back. So yeah, it's going really well at the moment. We are quite proud that we've been able to stick through this thing for 12 years, and we're at a better place than we've ever been.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. You've worked with amazing people. You've worked with Mpumi. You've worked with Trademark. Like the list is endless. So, who are some of the people that you would love to work with from now on, going forward?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. You know, for us, we were at a place where we wanted to work with names at one stage, and we did some of that. But I actually nowadays, I think we both enjoy working with new talent more. The process is just more pure in that sense. So we're always looking to discover new people on the scene who we can work with. I think, I can't remember how we got in touch, probably on some kind of social media platform. And that's really fun for us, you know, because we can then give a little bit of input to the new talent and have some kind of an influence. You know, they're often more open to collaborate and even co-write and so on, so that's really nice. I mean, if you asked me, I'd love to work with John Legend one day. I think that would be great.
That
you
would
know?
be amazing.
That if we're putting it out there, I really love his stuff. There's a friend of ours in Greece who I really want to work with more. His name's Andus. We've done one track together. He's an absolutely incredible vocalist. Yeah, locally, it'll be nice to get in studio with some other producers again. Cairo, would love to, you know, we've been talking to Cairo, so if we can get together and do something, that'll be great. Nico, the couple. You know, so we see each other at shows and we talk, but making it happen is sometimes a little bit harder. In terms of vocalists, something Soweto. It's very versatile.
Yeah, it's very versatile.
And of course you. That's why you're here.
Oh my god, and it's happening. It is happening. So, about the upcoming tour, Mexico, next year, please tell me about it.
Yeah, so Mexico has been in the works for a while, and we've had to postpone things a little bit because visas. Getting a visa is I think international promoters book you and they don't understand the process we have to go through. So we're very excited to go there, especially to Tulum, because there's a big scene there. But at this point in time, we have had to move it, postpone it a little bit, because we have to go through the whole process of getting visas approved, and we also getting to Mexico it's a very long flight. So
how long is it?
It's, I think it's around 20-something hours. So what you do is you then you do stopovers when you tour like this. So to coordinate that process, we'll probably stop somewhere like Dubai, play shows there, and then fly over to Mexico. But we're really excited. We're excited for a lot of prospects. We're talking to some people in India. We really want to go to India. We're looking forward to go to Mexico. If we can go to we'll try and link up and shoot over to Canada because we have some interest there. But that being said, whenever you go to a new territory, you have to balance between are you now going to meet new people and showcase your product to a new audience, or are you going to make money? And this is a fine balance. So normally when you go to new territories, you're not making as much money as if you go to a place where they know you and so on. So next year we'll spend a lot more time in Europe if we can. A month or two or three if we can, and then we'll shoot over to some new places along the way. So it's very exciting. We are excited. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with the world. You know, somebody might want to force us into a lockdown or whatever medicines they think is appropriate for us to take. Again, so we never know what's going to happen with that, but we are very excited, and we've got some good management helping us with this stuff, which has taken us many years to get to.
So I wanted to ask this, how do you guys prepare for a show? Like when you're going to perform somewhere, do you like get someone to go scan there and oh these people like this type of music? Like, how do you prepare?
I mean sometimes normally when we're on tour we'll go to the venue the day before, or if we can, or earlier in the day, or we'll ask them to send us videos, or we'll have a look at who are the local DJs playing. So that's quite important to get a feel for things, because you're still going to do you. But you have to have some kind of a flexibility according to what the place is playing. So let's say you're going to play 80% you and 20% you're going to be adjusting. So for example, we were recently in Lagos in Nigeria, and there we would find or create a cappellas of the very popular songs there, and we would make our own remixes of those. So that's one of the things, because we produce, we can do. So we might, you know, when we go to Greece, we'll find some of the popular stuff there, remix it and work it into our sets. So they're still getting our Afro version of the song, but they're getting something they know, which if I can, if you're giving advice to DJs, up and coming guys at least, if you can bring a little bit of that, of what the people already know, into the set, you will do very well, because you can read your audience and you can pull them in with something like that, and then give them something completely new that they don't know, but they are very open to that when that happens. And the other thing is we are obviously always getting promotions from labels and so on, hundreds of tracks that we have to filter through and find the ones that we like to play. And when we find the ones that we like to play, then they have to practice together, because sometimes I'm going to put a live instrument on there, or we're going to put a cappella on there, or we're going to sing on there. So we spend, whenever we're going somewhere to play, we spend a lot of time in studio on our decks and our instruments, rehearsing the songs together, rehearsing the transitions and the instruments and so on. So that takes a lot of time. A lot of time spent practicing.
You even answered my last question. The one about the DJs, when you're telling them, that's very proper.
Yeah, I think, I mean, also for young, I always tell it, because DJs are always asking us, I'm not a DJ. I can DJ, but Kaji is the main DJ. So he's always better equipped to answer these things. But, you know, what makes you unique? How do you bring yourself into your sets? Because people are looking for that nowadays. You know, some people find they can have a very good physique and look good on stage and dress nice, and that helps. Some people breathe fire on stage. Some people play instruments. Some people play with effects. But everybody is going to want, because there are millions of DJs. I promise you, maybe, you know, what's the population of the world? You know, let's say the population of South Africa is 50 million, there's 40 million DJs out there. So what are you going to do? How are you bringing yourself? Your music will be great, that's great if you have good music. but in terms of your performance, what is unique to you? And once you find that, you do that a lot in your shows to build the brand around that.
That's proper. Is there anything else that we're leaving out? Would you like to share with us?
Yeah, if you guys want to go have a nice listening experience, you can find our album on Spotify and iTunes, wherever. There's 15 tracks on there. It's a really nice listening experience to go through. So we appreciate that. We appreciate that kind of support. And then everybody else, all the young vocalists who want to work, or young, old, doesn't matter. If you want to work, hit us up and we can talk. You can find us quite easily on socials. Stones Bones Band. That's it. Twitter, Instagram.
On Facebook also.
Facebook, yeah. We're not on TikTok because we don't understand TikTok. But we're working on it. We'll get there. So.
You understand it. I also don't get Instagram.
Okay.
But now I'm getting there.
Yeah, it takes us a while, but we get there. So.
Thank you so much for agreeing
to thank you for having
be a
me.
part of our podcast. It was really amazing.
Our pleasure.
Thank you guys for watching. That was CJ with Stones and Bones. Akangizwa manje ukuthi ngithini. He's smiling. I just said you can't hear what I'm saying.
No.
Let's focus. Alright guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also follow Stones and Bones on Instagram, on Twitter and on Facebook. My name is Sonchagazi. It is the Ringers Podcast. Till next year, have amazing holidays. Goodbye.
Oh yeah.